The storm brings the potential of flooding in low-lying areas along the coast as high tide approaches around 7:20 this morning. StormTracker 13 meteorologist Andrew Phillips is in one of the most flood-prone areas of Horry County this morning. Andrew, what's going on?
Hey Lauren, we're not seeing all that much out here right now. A little bit of ponding on the roadways, but while we were driving down here, we did run into a couple of those tropical downpours. Actually saw a car off the side of the road into a ditch, probably hydroplane there. The police were already there helping them out, but that's what we're going to be concerned about this morning. Running into some of these tropical downpours is the hydroplaning. So if you are heading out this morning, certainly want to take your time out there in the roads if you do run into one of those downpours. But behind me right now, you can see a couple of the trees in our distance here, the awning not moving all that much, getting wind speeds 20, even 30 miles an hour in some cases. I know down in Georgetown is the highest gust I've seen so far at 35 miles an hour. But like Lauren said, the flood watch continues at least until the daylight hours. We're still under a tropical storm warning as well. And with high tide coming up here at around 7:23 a.m., we will be watching for some of that coastal flooding. Now, I did walk down to the beach just a few minutes ago. Didn't really see it coming up all that much, but we'll certainly be keeping an eye on that as we head over the next couple of hours. Now, for a full update on Tropical Storm Andrea, let's head it back to the studio and Martha.
Morning. It's one of the flood-prone spots in Horry County. Andrew, what's happening?
Well, Lauren, we're not seeing all that much out here right now. There is a little bit of ponding on the roadways, but we did look at the ocean probably about 15 minutes ago, and it's really not coming up all that much. Still about 30 yards away from the sand dunes, but we do have high tide coming up at 7:23, so we will have to keep an eye on that, especially in areas low-lying like Garden City here along the beaches. Wind-wise, not really seeing all that much. It is a little bit breezy out here this morning, but like Martha talked about, that drier air moving in, actually seeing some breaks in the clouds out here right now. Probably going to see the sun come up here pretty shortly, so continue with that breeze. Now, we did run into a heavy downpour on the way down here about an hour ago. Actually saw a car that had slid off the road, probably due to hydroplaning with that extremely heavy rain. We had to slow down to about 20 or 30 miles an hour because it really became tough to see. We started kind of sliding all over the road. So if you do run into any of those tropical downpours, certainly want to take your time out there this morning and be ready to run into any of those because hydroplaning will be the big problem. But other than that, we really aren't seeing any problems down here for right now. But we will keep you updated throughout the rest of the morning, and I'll have another live update from Garden City coming up in a few minutes. Now,
talking about it all morning, Tropical Storm Andrea continues to dump rain on parts of the eastern Carolinas. The rain brings the potential of flooding to low-lying areas. StormTracker 13 meteorologist Andrew Phillips is live in Garden City right now. It's one of the most flood-prone spots in Horry County. High tide is in about an hour. Andrew, what's happening?
Well, we're not seeing any flooding out here right now from the ocean. The ocean's still about 20 yards off, but very large waves out there behind me. We are seeing plenty of choppy waters, a lot of white caps out there over the ocean. And we did have one of those rain bands come by, so the wind has really picked up here within the last hour or so. Right here by Sam's Corner down in Garden City, actually the awning is starting to tear there, so the winds are starting to increase as even these lighter rain bands do move by. So some dark clouds behind me, but right out ahead of me, actually starting to see some sunshine out here this morning. It still is pretty breezy though, but while we were on our way over here earlier, did run into one of those downpours, saw a car actually that had slid off the road due to hydroplaning. So that seems to be the only real issue this morning is when we get these tropical downpours, we see some ponding out there on the roadways, but so far not seeing any real flooding from the ocean. But like Lauren said, high tide is still about an hour away, so I'll certainly be keeping an eye on that for the rest of the day. Reporting live in Garden City, I'm StormTracker 13 meteorologist Andrew Phillips.
Tropical Storm Andrea is dumping rain on the eastern Carolinas. The storm brings the potential of flooding in low-lying areas along the coast as high tide approaches around 7:20 this morning. Meteorologist Andrew Phillips is in one of the most flood-prone areas of Horry County. He's in Garden City. Andrew, what's going on?
Well, we aren't really seeing too much out here right now. Like you said, high tide coming up pretty soon, and the ocean behind me about 20 or 30 feet behind me and still not looking like it's coming up the beach that far, so probably not anticipating any coastal flooding here, especially for this morning. We are actually seeing some blue skies. Clouds are beginning to clear. We did have a couple heavier rain bands come through earlier. That's when we saw the gusty winds. Didn't really see any damage with those gusty winds either, so just kind of a windy day here at the beach. We have actually seen some people walking around, so conditions certainly not all that bad out here. Just do want to watch for some ponding on the roadways. Still seeing a little bit of that here from the heavy rainfall earlier today. Not seeing any rain out there right now. Still is a dangerous risk for rip currents, though, so probably not a great day to get out on the beach. Maybe go for a walk on the beach just to check out the surf out there because the waves are pretty big, but definitely not a good day to go swimming. We're seeing the waves are anywhere from about 4 to 8 feet behind me. They are crashing up against the pier, and we'll continue to see that through the afternoon hours, even as Andrea does pull away from the coast. Now, we did see a couple things being blown around with that wind earlier, but overall, we certainly dodged a bullet here with Tropical Storm Andrea. Other than seeing a little bit of a breeze here for this morning, seeing some of that heavy rain earlier, things really starting to taper off here, and we're being left with mainly sunny skies out here right now. But so for now in Garden City, I'm meteorologist Andrew Phillips.
Morning. Tropical Storm Andrea continues to dump rain on parts of the eastern Carolinas. The rain brings the potential for flooding to low-lying areas. Meteorologist Andrew Phillips is live in Garden City this morning. It's one of the most flood-prone spots in Horry County. Andrew, what's happening?
Well, we're not seeing much around here right now. The ocean actually staying where it should be. We're up here by the dunes. Not really seeing the water come up too much. A lot of big waves out there, though. But you notice the sun is also starting to shine, so we haven't seen rain in quite a bit here. We did have some gusty winds earlier, but the only thing I saw was an inner tube is what got overwhelmed by Tropical Storm Andrea. Nothing else really out here. It has been a windy pretty much all morning, but nothing too unusual. Wind gusts a little over 30 miles an hour. Felt like about 35 miles an hour here a little bit earlier. But definitely not a day to go swimming out here on the beaches. Seeing plenty of people out here walking around right now, just checking out the high surf, checking out all the waves. But you don't want to go on the beach because we are dealing with those strong rip currents today, especially with the winds out there. Now, coastal flooding wise, not really seeing anything. Still a little bit of ponding out there on the roadways from those very heavy downpours we saw earlier on today. Saw some of that blinding rain earlier on, but we haven't seen that rain in quite a while here. So things really starting to dry up. Tropical Storm Andrea not really affecting our area that much. We did miss the brunt of the storm, so just dealing with a breezy day here at the beaches. And you can see the sun really starting to shine here on me this morning. For now, reporting in Garden City, I'm meteorologist Andrew Phillips.